In this lecture, we're going to finish off our navigation by adding our mobile menu items, and we're also going to be taking a look at our mobile submenu items. Whenever we click on this tickets, we want to display our submenu item for mobile. So to kick this off then, let's go back to our code and let's remove this hard-coded mobile menu label. And first of all, let's go ahead and add our labels in, just like what we did for the desktop version of our menu items. So we'll add a div and a span, and we'll just go home for the first one. We'll go lineup for the second one. The third one is tickets, and we're going to skip past the submenu items for the tickets. For now, we're just going to concentrate on the top level menu items. And then the last label is support. So then we want to go ahead and add some class names to these divs. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to do this by creating multiple cursors. So I'm going to hold down Option on Mac and hold down Alt if you're on Windows to create those multiple cursors, and we want to add some class names. So we've already covered most of the class names already that we're going to add for our mobile menu items. So I'm going to quickly brush through these ones. So we want a position of relative. We want to display flex because we want to centrally align our labels. So it's going to make it easier to centrally align the spans when we display flex on the parent div. We want an H of full, which will give a height of 100%. We want a cursor of pointer, so our users know that they can click on this particular menu item. We want items center and justify center. So both of these classes are going to centrally align vertically and horizontally this span label within this parent div. Then we're going to add a P4 all around, so that will give a padding of 16 pixels all around. We're going to have a font of bold. Again, we want the text pink of 200. And again, we're going to add that hover of text zinc 200, just like what we've done for the desktop menu items. Then we want a transition of colors, and exactly like the desktop items, we want to add that slightly transparent white background cover on hover. So we can go hover bg white /10. So let's save this now and take a look in the browser. If we refresh our project, let's go ahead and open our mobile menu item now. And there we go. We can see our mobile menu items all looking really good. So the last thing we need to do then is hook up the tickets submenu item. And we're going to do this with the group open variant that we created a few lectures ago. So our custom group open variant is again an appropriate variant to use for our tickets submenu item. So let's go back to our code and let's start building out our ticket submenu items then. So for this tickets top level menu item, let's do something a little bit different here and let's wrap it in a div. And we're going to remove the padding for this particular menu item because we're going to add the padding on this div here because we don't want this top level padding to affect our submenu items. So let's go ahead and remove the P4 for the tickets menu item. And what we want to do is add a group to the top level menu item for the tickets. Then for the tickets label then, this is where we're going to add our P4, and we want text center, and we're going to add the font bold at this level for the tickets menu. So we want our submenu items to not have a bold text. So you can do that if you want, but I'm just going to show some variation in our design. And it's a little bit more obvious if we take a look at the completed project. It's a little bit more obvious when we open this tickets menu item. If we don't have the bold text for these two submenu items, then it's pretty obvious that these are actually submenu items of the tickets menu item. So that's why I'm removing the font bold on the submenu items and just applying it to the tickets label. So if we go back to our code then, we want to add the font bold to the tickets label, and we want to remove it from that top level menu item for our tickets. So as a sibling then to this tickets label, this is going to be our sub menu. So within this div, let's go ahead and add our sub menu items. The first one is going to be a single day ticket. So again, we're going to add a div, and within that div, we're going to add a span for the label. So it's going to be single day ticket. And let's just copy this and paste it, and we want the 7-day ticket for that second submenu item. So I'm going to add all exactly the same classes that I added for the rest of the menu items. So I'm going to quickly brush through this then. We want a position of relative. We want a text pink of 200. And when we hover, we want a text zinc of 200. And again, when we hover, we want that BG white, and we're going to use /5 here. So a little bit less of a noticeable white background because it's going to be overlaid anyway on this tickets background. So let's go transition, colors, and let's go ease in out. So let's take a look in the browser now and see what we've got. So let's refresh and open up our mobile menu, and it seems we have a bit of a display issue here. So let's go ahead and fix that then. Back in our code, we want to make sure that we're not actually displaying our tickets menu item as flex. So which means then we need to get rid of the items center and justify center because they no longer apply because we're not displaying this div as flex. So just go ahead and save this and take a look in the browser to see what we've got. Open up the mobile menu again, and there we go. We've got our tickets main menu item, and we just need to add a couple more styles to the submenu items to finish these off then. So let's go back to our code. And again, for our submenu items, I'm going to add multiple cursors here. I'm going to add a text center, and I'm going to add a P4. So let's save this and take a look in the browser now. Again, let's open up our mobile menu, and there we go. We can see we've got our submenu items displaying correctly. So the last thing we need to do now then is just hook up the click handler whenever we click the tickets or tap on the tickets because we're going to be on mobile. So whenever we click on the tickets, that's when we want to open or toggle our submenu items for the tickets. So let's go back to our code, and we just pretty much want to replicate what we did for our mobile menu icon button. So on our top level menu item here for our tickets, let's go ahead and add an ID. And let's just call it tickets menu item. So then what we can do then is if we scroll right to the top again, let's just copy what we've got for the mobile menu icon. Just copy and paste exactly what we've already got for the mobile menu icon. And now let's just call this tickets menu item. And we want to get element by ID, and we want to get the tickets menu item and just replace this mobile menu icon with the tickets menu item because we want to target this tickets menu item now, and the functionality is exactly the same. So if our tickets menu item has a class of open, we're just going to remove that class. If it doesn't have that class of open, we're just going to add that class. Just go ahead and save this. And before we take a look in the browser, let's go and hook up the functionality. So for our tickets submenu item, or our submenu item wrapper, I should say, if we scroll, where are the tickets? So we've got the ticket menu item here. So this particular div here is the wrapper for our submenu items. So we want to add a class here, and exactly like what we've done with the group open class before, we want a default state of hidden, and we want to add a group open and display block. So if we go ahead and save this and take a look in the browser now, and let's give it a refresh, let's open up our mobile menu. We can see by default our submenu items for the tickets menu is hidden. But if we click on that tickets menu, well, this is embarrassing, nothing's actually happening. So let's go back to our code and see where I've gone wrong. So I've got a ticket menu item here, and let's scroll to our script, and I've got the element by ID, but I've referenced the wrong string in here. So I accidentally put tickets menu item, and it should be ticket menu item. So let's go ahead and save this now, and everything should work. So if we take a look in the browser, give it a refresh and open up our mobile menu, let's click on tickets, and there we go. We can see our tickets submenu items are now visible. And if we click on tickets again, then it hides the submenu. So this concludes our navbar, which means we can now move on to our hero section. So if we take a look in the completed project, in the next section and the next lecture, we're going to make a start on this hero section. And it's in this section where we're also going to take a look at our custom animation for these sound waves. So we're going to take a look at all of this starting in the next lecture.